Hello, I'm Alan working at Nuxeo, and I'm going to show you today what you can do as a sample with workflows within Nuxeo. The topic of today will be learning objects. So when talking about learning objects, we are talking about a specific structure designed to store all the contents related to the production of training content. So for instance, here I have a sample one already created to see exactly what it is about. So I go to a document here, how to set up Nuxeo, and I can see that this document, comparing to what you might know already about Nuxeo, has a main file here, setup nuxeo.powerpoint, plus some other files like translations. I have an English version of the PowerPoint, a PDF version in French, and also a video version. And we can see that the metadatas are not the one you are used to know on the default version of Nuxeo. Indeed, I did a bit of customization to have specific schemas to handle all those contents. So each time I want to add a new conversion of my training content, I will be able to specify the language and whether it is, for instance, a Flash, a PDF, a static website, or anything else. So here we see that Nuxeo enables to adapt exactly the structure of your content to what you want to do with it. Now that we know what we call a learning object model, let's see how we can create it. So we can create it as a normal document. So if you click on New Document, you can create, as usual, workspaces, collaborative stuff, picture book, many things, file as usual, but also learning objects. So this is a way to create a learning object. But now we are going to see how we can create and fill those learning objects on a workflow-driven process. So I will disconnect and connect now as technical. Technical in my scenario will be the guy that works in a technical space, and all of a sudden has a proposal to say, oh, let's do a training on how to develop with Nuxeo. So first of all, as he has an idea, he will think of what he wants to put into this training, and will produce a PowerPoint which will be like a storyboard of the training. So to do so, you just go to his Windows Explorer, as you saw, and take the file he wants. He has already worked on. Just do a drag and drop into Nuxeo, and it appears as usual. We can see here it's a classical file tab document, and what we want to do with this is, at some point when we think it's okay, we want to propose it to the training team, not the training but the media producer team, which in our scenario works specifically into the assembly folder. So we start a specific workflow here. I go to the usual workflow tab, but today the workflow are not approval or parallel, as you might know. It's learning object validation. So I start the workflow, and I can see that automatically validation manager is affected a task. Why this guy is automatically affected a task? Well, the reason is that if I go to the technical team workspace, technical, but as administrator this time, we'll see that on the permission configuration, we have the group, so the user validation manager, which has a validate permission on the workspace. The validate permission, I think you don't know this one because I just put it as an extension in my today's plugin. So this validate permission, I can put it on any workspace, and the idea is that the workflow, the validation workflow I've started is designed so that the validation task is affected to any person having the validation permission on top of the workspace. It's another way of affecting the task, because the default Nuxeo workflow you are the person who launched the workflow, choose the actors. Here we can see it's configured by the administrator, and the user has no choice on who will be affected the task. It's another very frequent request I have when meeting people talking about Nuxeo. Now the task has been fired, so let's see user validator, or I think it's validation. If we go to the dashboard, we can indeed see that there is a new task, learning object validation, and with the comments, and if you click on the link, it goes to so that you can validate. So here, thank you to it's written in French here, but thank you to validate the file so that we can produce corresponding learning objects. So the idea in the scenario, he goes to the summary, he downloads the file, he had a look at it, or maybe he could have used the preview folder, the preview annotations, which is not displayed here but also exists in Nuxeo, so that you can just preview the file without downloading the app. And once you think it's okay, it is a good content that can really be a good source of for producing a training, you say okay, let's go, I approve, let's go. Then people receives an email saying okay, the document is accepted, the production process will start. And we can see that I've talked about this specific folder assembly. Well, accepting the document, automatically the workflow